Alrighty, this is another dig a month later in August of 2012. Neighbors of mine across the street, half a block the other direction from the last dig, were going on vacation and basically told me, have at it, knock yourself out. So I found the privy back behind their house. Turned out to be only the second one that I had ever discovered that was an automatic flush. It ran the water, the rainwater off the roof down the downspout and into a clay pipe that ran underground and punched itself into the cistern, the privy. And then the opposite end of the privy there was a drainage hole that drained into who knows where. However, fortunately for me, the original owners never used it as such. They filled it in with tons of bottles. It was a real good dig, so we'll check it out here. Didn't have a ton of age to it. The house was built in the early 1880s, and I believe it was a judge's home. There is a kind of an odd story to this. In the next picture or two, that should be identifiable to most as a Buffalo Lithia water Medusa blah blah blah, with the lady sitting on the bench. Well, that was a first for me. I hadn't dug one of those up. And the dogs, they're still hot. It's August. You'll see this shelf right above the blade of the shovel, right in there. When I got down to, what, about 4 foot there, I hit a piece of plastic, a blue plastic, and I'm like, oh, what in the hell? And as I got more into it, I realized, ah, crap, it's a blue tarp. You know, similar or typical what we diggers tend to use for throwing our dirt on. And I thought, ah, crud, somebody beat me to it, you know. But I thought, well, what the hell? They might have missed something, you never know. So fortunately, I kept digging it out, and as I got a little bit more into it, I suddenly discovered it had a very rank odor. And long story short is, when the homeowners came back, I had to pose a question to them that I didn't want to. I asked them, did you guys bury a dog in your backyard recently? And they looked at each other like, what the hell's he talking about? And then I think the wife kind of went, oh, he's talking about, I don't know what the name of the dog was, but apparently they had buried this dog 17 years earlier, wrapped it up in a plastic tarp and buried it. I'll tell you what, that dog was as ripe and as nasty as if they had buried it 17 days ago. It was so bad I had to move the entire tarp and the carcass as far away in the yard as possible, downwind from me, because it was just gagging. To which I told them I had reburied the dog at the bottom of the hole, minus the tarp, to allow it to decompose properly. I may have left out that last part, I'm not sure, but I told them I reburied the dog. And apparently there was a crazy lady that lived 2 houses away that was running around poisoning people's pets for whatever reason. Dogs and cats and squirrels, nothing was safe. And their dog was a victim of this crazy person. Yeah, what a story, huh? Anyway, I kept digging. You know, sometimes we diggers, we got to go through hell to find heaven. Such was the case here. This was the beginnings. That's the Buffalo water bottle. This headless guy was a label under glass, and it was Palmer's something perfume. I can't remember what it said in the middle. I can't make it out. A Saxleaner's bitter quill, common but pretty, because they're always hammer whittled. This, I think, was an Eagle Pickle out of St. Louis, I want to say. I can't remember. And a typical 1880s style Citra de Magnesia. It's minus the little curly cues that you see on the earlier ones. And then another OD chemical bottle. My favorite. I think that one I had tumble pro cleaned. This was my first crier out of the hole, a Congress Spring mineral water bottle in that beautiful emerald foresty green, and a W.H. Hooker's for the throat and lungs bottle. And then a smattering of 1880s, 1890s Hannibal pharmacy bottles. This one I recognize from the baseball diamond logo. That was a Henry Webster, and they were only listed in the directories for 1 year. The directory collection's missing a directory for the year before and the year after, and I think it was 1885 that he's listed, and he disappears. But he must have been popular, because I find his bottles to pop up with some regularity compared to a lot of others. And this is one of those Spavin cures for human flesh. I'm pretty sure I still have that one floating around in my collection. Residing in my cure collection. And then some more pharmacy bottles. This one's out of Kansas City with a lighthouse, cooler than cool, also commoner than common. I always loved digging up these Joseph S. Peterson's malts. Those are beautiful. Oftentimes they're misrepresented on eBay or places for sale for, you know, they call it a sauce bottle or whatever, and it's, you know, like it was a quote-unquote medicated malt, sort of like Duffy's malt liquor, you know, or Duffy's malt. Edgar Ray is a later medicine. This is Murray Ray, the father, who retired, and his son took over the business in 1892, I think. So these are all before 1892. And then we got the that's a hard one to find, and I can't remember what the heck it is, but I'm pretty sure I still have that one. And Poor Richard's Eye Water, those are always, I've only dug a handful of those, and they're always fun to dig. Moving right along, there's what the hole looked like. A fairly unusual, round, almost cistern looking kind of thing. And there's the bombshell. I mean, it looks like a bomb exploded, doesn't it? And a load of bottles lining the back wall. And there's me in the hole. And there's me deeper in the hole. Trying to duck from the camera or something. I don't know what I was doing. And again, I dug up a couple of these beautiful cobalt blue beers. I still have 2 out of the 3 that I dug in these 2 back-to-back digs. And again, just a slew of Hannibal medicines, different pharmacies. They definitely spread their currency around town, that's for sure. Yeah, nothing real remarkable here, but the next bottle is pretty cool. They're not worth a whole lot, but they sure are pretty. Oops, not that one. The Kennedy's bottle here is reportedly, I think I read somewhere where it's for gonorrhea. One of those lovely gonorrhea bottles. Yacht Club salad dressing with a tool top screw lid on it. The ever-present Mrs. Winslow's soothing syrup. And more medicines. And there's the overall haul that I got out of that hole, which is an impressive amount of glass. I mean, they didn't care about it draining anywhere. This one's a beauty. I'll tell you, it's, you know, that's a sparkler. It came out that clean. I never had it pro-tumbled or anything. Lactopeptine digestive agent. The New York Pharmacal Association. Not a rare bottle, but I'd call it scarce at least, you know, at least in this neck of the woods. And there's a lovely blurry picture of lactopeptine elixir. Yeah, just one of my favorite bottles. And then that's the yard after I was done raking it back together again, looking decent. The homeowners got probably 3/4 of the bottles I dug up. For one, I just didn't have room for them anymore. You know what I mean? Alrighty, this dig had some nice color to it, including 2 of these Anheuser-Busch Glass Company bottles, otherwise known as liquid bread. This one I think is a little bit newer because the older ones, this little ring under the lip is, the older ones is more pointy, more sharpened on the edge. These later ones are a little bit rounded. Remnants of the original foil, lead foil that was on them. And you know, they're great window bottles, you know, bring about 50 bucks. So I'm always happy to dig one of those. Same goes for the JSPs, you know, these come in a variety of shades of green. I really haven't seen much variation other than green. I wouldn't be too surprised if there's a yellow one out there or a clear one or God only knows what. This one I think is a bit older than most. It's got that little X on the base. A lot of those Western bottles seem to have this kind of cross on them, but more pronounced. It's like really huge. And it's funny because I've got a couple of them, and I had to make sure, tried to make sure this is the one that came out of this hole, because there's this bubble right here in the picture of it in the video. So if you look real close, you'll see that's the original bottle out of this particular dig. And just a cool bottle. And you know, same for the lactopeptine elixir, you know. I don't dig a lot of elixirs. I would think that would make an interesting collection, like cures and whatnot. New York Pharmacal Association, blah blah blah, embossing on 3 of 4 sides. And it's got some nice rainbow color to the glass, you know, from being buried. That's what Tiffany tried to copy. You know, you hear about Tiffany glass or whatnot, and if he ever saw Benicia glass, he would have turned purple with envy. Because he would have been ticked off that he couldn't reproduce it. Anyway, cool bottles. And then this one, I've dug up Kendall Spavin for horses. But this is the first one, Cure for Human Flesh, I've ever dug up. You know, what's it say? Enosburg Falls, Vermont. Wherever the heck that is. I've been to Vermont. I have relatives there. Don't recall that. But anyway, yeah, an interesting little cure bottle. I'm glad they spelled it out that it's for human flesh. So I guess that's telling me I'm not supposed to drink it because I don't think my innards are fleshy. Probably not. Anyway, that was an interesting dig. I could have done without the mummified, putrefied dog that I dug up. That was nasty. Anyway, that's that. Keep a watch out for more. I have lots of slideshows left because I didn't know how to take a movie with one hand, you know. Didn't even know it could be done. I'm more talented than I ever imagined.